I truly believe that miracles are our natural state. Magic is our natural state. We have just been disillusioned that we are not supposed to experience them, that we are not worthy of them. If we can adopt self-love and self-worth and open our eyes to infinite and limitless possibilities, absolutely anything is possible. And when we live in that realm of creativity and that realm of infinite possibilities, it actually doesn't even matter what the diagnosis is, or what the reasoning is, or why we got the problem in the first place. Welcome to Divine Alignment. I'm your host, Jasmine. I'm a holistic nutritionist, energy healer, and hypnotherapist. I help you awaken your inner healer through holistic health and nutrition, along with expanding your consciousness. Through raising the vibration of your health and thoughts, I want you to have divine alignment in your mind, body, and soul. Let's go to the show. Hello, beautiful souls. I am so excited you are here because today I am going to be sharing the one question that you need to be asking if you want to heal. This is a game changer, and I can promise you that. And I think that this is really what is missing in our medical system today. And I truly believe that if you ask this question, your life can completely change. Let's dive in. First of all, I just want to start off by saying that this is not common sense, it's not common knowledge, and it's not being taught. Our traditional medical system especially really has this fear-based approach, and this approach where we have to name and identify and categorize everything. So today we have more names for diseases and issues and things happening in the body than I feel like we have ever had in the past. And this is actually one of the very first or second channelings that I did. I wrote about this, and this was very eye-opening for myself and actually a bit comical in a way. And it was what I channeled was that you humans are so funny because you have to give everything these intricate names. If you just turn on your TV for 2 seconds now, you will hear during these commercials, do you think you have, or do you suffer from back pain? It could be whatever, spondylitis. First of all, we are instilling fear because now all of a sudden people are like, well, I have back pain. And to be honest, how many of us have not had back pain at one point in our lives, resorting to this fear of, oh, do I have this condition or this disease? And so what came through in my channelings was, why can't we just say, my back hurts or my arm hurts? Why does it have to be named this disease or this condition? It's really fascinating because when we give something a name or a condition, or we label it, it all of a sudden creates magnitude and depth and gravity to whatever that condition is. Before it was this, my back is hurting, and now all of a sudden it's, I have this condition. I have this chronic disease. I have this diagnosis, and then all of a sudden we feel like something is wrong with us. We feel like we are not whole, we are not okay. And it's this very strange thing because when we create weight to things, it makes it harder for them to heal because all of a sudden it seems like a larger thing to overcome. It's this disease, it's this illness. So that's the first part of it. Then there's the flip side of it, which is really my journey a lot of what happened during my journey is I went from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor searching for answers. I was searching, why do I have these pains? Why am I still suffering? And I remember just getting told, oh, well, it's an autoimmune condition. And so I was like, oh, I got an answer. But then it's like it was fulfilled for like a little bit. But then I was like, well, but why did I get an autoimmune condition? And so I was searching and searching and searching. And then we started searching to, oh, well, was it this course of antibiotics I did? Or was it this trauma in my past? Especially when I was in treatment for an eating disorder, it was like, I will never forget those therapy sessions of, it was just like poking the problem with a stick of like, well, you had this happen with your dad and this happened with your mom, and that's probably why you are suffering with your eating disorder today. And it's like, okay, well, that may be the case. It may not be. But will we ever know? Even if that was the cause of it, it wasn't making it any better. It wasn't making me all of a sudden healed. What I'm going to propose is that if you want to heal, the main question you need to be asking is, what can I learn from this? If you can ask that question of what can I learn from this, rather than why is this happening to me? Why did I get this? How did my past shape this? What did I do wrong? If we can ask, what can I learn from this? In that moment, take our power back, and we are able to transcend the current problem. And so what does that mean? What does it mean to transcend our current problem? I am of the belief that all of these quote problems, there really is no such thing as a problem. We choose to perceive it as a problem. But if we can look at it as what can I learn from this, all of a sudden there are no problems. Everything is learning. And you can look at this for your health, but you can look at this in every asset in your life. Are you struggling with your finances? What can I learn from this? Are you struggling in a relationship? What can I learn from this? So you see how this becomes this, it's actually a much larger question than, well, how did I get this? How did I get in debt? How did I get in this abusive relationship? How did I get this health problem? When we look at it from that lens, we are so disempowered. We are taking away our power and we are perpetuating the problem. Because when we look at it from this lens, we take on the victim role. And when we are the victim, we cannot heal. When we are the victim, we cannot make money. When we are the victim, we cannot find a loving relationship. And so do you see how this begins to work? And this is of no wrongdoing of you, or there's zero guilt. I want to have there be zero guilt when I'm talking about this, because this is not what our society teaches us. Our society teaches us to have to search for answers, diagnoses, and labels, and all of these things. And this is a completely new way to look at it, because what I'm proposing is to say that none of this even really matters. What does matter is what we can learn from our suffering. When we begin to look at what we can learn from our suffering, we take our power back. This is also really contradictory to our current beliefs in society. Our society as a whole has really become so left-brained, so analytical, so scientific. Every single little thing has to be researched and studied and proven. And if we live by this, we are really doing ourselves a disservice. If we have to live by needing proof of everything, I believe that we're going to live a very sad life. I believe that we're going to live a very limited life. I feel like as children, we grow up with this being enamored by magic and miracles, and we're of the belief that all of this is possible. We know that this is possible when we're a kid. Everything is possible. You want to be an astronaut or a ballerina? It's like, of course that's possible. It's once we grow up that then we start being indoctrinated with the belief that's not the logical decision, or that's not what we're supposed to do, or is that be real type things. What I'm saying is we need to go back. We need to go back to our childhood and embrace this mysticism, embrace these miracles. I'm not even worried about being considered too woo, because that's just, this is what I believe, and you can choose to believe it or not, but I truly believe that miracles are our natural state. Magic is our natural state. We have just been disillusioned that we are not supposed to experience them, that we are not worthy of them. If we can adopt self-love and self-worth and open our eyes to infinite and limitless possibilities, absolutely anything is possible. And when we live in that realm of creativity and that realm of infinite possibilities, it actually doesn't even matter what the diagnosis is, or what the reasoning is, or why we got the problem in the first place. Because when we focus so heavily on why we got the problem in the first place, we cannot move in. We're focused on the past. And so when we can actually just put our focus and attention on what we can learn, then we're stepping into the future. And when we can step into the future, all of a sudden anything is possible. All of a sudden miracles become our natural state. Another example, I want to go back to the idea of, or I guess just the example of when I had an eating disorder. Personally, I'm of the belief that addictions to literally anything, to drugs, alcohol, shopping, food, porn, sex, any of these things, I literally believe that they're all the same, because all that they are our mind trying to cope. So I don't really see any difference between someone struggling with an eating disorder versus struggling with overexercising versus struggling with gambling versus alcohol, narcotic, whatever it is. It's all just the brain trying to cope. And when the brain is trying to cope, it finds a way or a thing or an activity in order to be able to deal or numb your reality or not feel your past. And so for me, I was starving myself because I thought that this would numb me from whatever it was I was trying to not feel, which I believe was a lot of things. And so there's, when you dive into the psychology, psychologists get really obsessed with, well, it was, people who struggle with anorexia, typically it was this type of thing, and bulimia usually is rooted in this. And while all of this may be true, it may be true. I'm not doubting any of the root causes, but what I am saying is that, do you need to know that in order to heal? Does knowing that your dad wasn't there for you as a child help you heal? Does knowing that your mom treated you in a certain way and that it didn't empower you or make you feel like you were worthy, does that make you heal? And I really want you to sit with this question for a little bit, because I believe that all that these questions do, when we try and focus so heavily on why is this happening, we get stuck in the past and we create resentment for those who have contributed, quote unquote, contributed to why we're suffering. We also become the victim, and we cannot heal or create anything in our lives when we are in this victim role. And so for me, so long I was looking at, okay, well, I struggled with this and I struggled with this, and I had this kind of relationship with my dad and this kind of relationship with my mom, and I had this trauma happen when I was young, and That's probably why I suffer with my relationship with food. I could sit with that all day, but is that really doing me any good? Not really. It wasn't until I I actually began to see, and this is interesting because even in the depths of my eating disorder, while yes, I did definitely take on some of this victim role, I also always knew that I was going through this suffering for a reason. I firmly believe that we go through suffering, quote, suffering, pain. Suffering is optional. We all will experience pain, but whether we choose to suffer is our choice. So I believe that I went through this pain and suffering in order to really lead me and guide me to my mission, to help others transcend whatever they're going through. And I would argue that that is really what life is about, is finding our how can we learn from this so that then we can help others find their what can I learn from this? And then they can help them find their what can I learn from this? And when we do this, we all of a sudden all take our power back and we rise. And then not only are we rising together, we're creating a compound effect, and we're all rising, we're all transcending, we're all elevating our collective consciousness. We're all becoming the best version of ourselves and bringing others on this journey with us. And is there anything more beautiful than that? Is there anything more beautiful than all of us rising together, than all of us transcending our limiting beliefs and our current reality and stepping into magic and miracles, abundance and healing, and all that we are so worthy of in our lives? Is there anything more amazing than that? I find it so fascinating that we are spending collectively as a society billions and trillions of dollars into researching a cure for cancer. And I know that this is going to get really taboo. But I'm okay with that because these are just my beliefs, and you can choose to adopt them or not, and that is absolutely your choice. But I believe that we are spending so much money putting into research for these illnesses, but really we have the answers. We have just limited ourselves in our thinking that the answers lie within a lab, that the answers lie underneath a telescope of creating some drug or some pill that will, quote, cure us or cure this disease. It doesn't have to be this way. It really doesn't. You read in the Bible, and I'm sure any of you have heard these stories about miraculous healing. People who their stage 4 cancer was healed and now they're in remission and living amazingly. You hear about these people who were given a month to live and now they're 9 years later, they're thriving. These are not people who found a magic pill. These are people who decided to embrace a miracle. These are people who asked for a miracle, who decided that they could be deserving enough of a miracle, or they even opened their subconscious mind slightly to the idea that a miracle was possible. And when we do this, it doesn't have to be full-on belief. Many of us think that we have to full-on 100% believe, I will heal. And I don't think that anyone, I'm sure there's some, but I know that for myself personally, I've never been like, oh, I 100% know with complete conviction that I can heal. But I know that there's a possibility, and that possibility gains momentum. And the more that we can feed and water and nourish and nurture that possibility, the more it grows. And the more that miracles and magic just happen, the more that we don't need a pill or a pharmaceutical or all of these things. What's really beautiful when we step into this way of thinking is that we become so powerful. We become the creators. We are able to then transcend our limitations and transcend our, quote, normal way of being. I mean, the normal way of being is boring. It's boring. We don't have to be waking up, hating our lives, going to a 9-to-5 job, doing things we don't like, living with a disease that we feel awful, and going to bed and numbing ourselves to sleep. We don't have to live this way. Society just tells us that that is the way of living, or that's just what we're supposed to do, or we just have to do it. We don't have to do any of these things. We are able to live a life of our wildest dreams, of abundance and healing and love and growth, and bring others up with us. But in order to do this, we have to believe that a miracle is possible and that magic is possible and that everything, absolutely everything, is happening for us rather than to hurt us. And that's what I mean when I say we have to ask, what can I learn from this? And when we see how we can learn from our problems, we take our power back. Because when we learn from our problems, we see how we can help others, how we can live a better life. We see how, so many people, you will hear them say, like, I'm grateful for my cancer, or I'm grateful for that suffering because it led me to where I am now. And I absolutely believe that within my own life. Without my struggles of my autoimmune conditions and all of the health issues that if I were to tell you all of the health issues that I've been through in my life, it's a lot. And I truly feel nothing but absolute gratitude because it's led me to where I am at now. And I can say that I have so much understanding and empathy for whatever you or anyone is going through because of what I've been through. And so I'm not saying that what you're going through is easy. I definitely know that what I've been through was not easy. But what I am saying is that you are so much more powerful than you could ever even comprehend. And I feel this for you. I see how powerful you are. And if you're listening, this is your sign and your reminder and your call to start seeing how powerful you are, to start seeing the infinite possibilities of healing and wealth and health and love in your life that you are so deserving of. You are so deserving of. And you don't have to get validation from anyone else, just you. You are deserving of all that you desire. And by overcoming whatever you're going through, you then get the opportunity to not only live a life beyond your wildest expectations and wildest dreams, but you then get to bring others along for this ride. You get to inspire them, help them, and you don't even have to be a healer, but you get to inspire people through your healing. It really is the most beautiful thing. I'm not saying everyone has to be a healer or has to be helping others. You help others simply by bettering yourself. Simply by becoming the best version of you, you give others permission to become the best version of them. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I just want to leave you with and challenge you with, maybe just journal about it. And just whatever problem or quote perceived problem that you are dealing with right now, I just want you to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And maybe just spend some time out in nature or in quiet, or you can just really reflect on this. What can I learn from this? I really, really, truly believe that this question can change your life. And if you do this exercise or if you do this reflecting, I would love to hear from you and hear what came up for you, what you learned, what insights you had, because I know that this can be and will be really profound. So let me know, tag me, and let me know you're listening on Instagram at I am Jasmine Elise, and send me a message or tag me in your stories and let me know what your greatest insight from this is. And until next time, I am sending you infinite love and light. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, share it with a friend. It really is together that we grow. Also, please head on over to iTunes and leave me a review. I would be so grateful. And lastly, take a screenshot, let me know you're listening, and tag me on Instagram stories at I am Jasmine Elise. And until next time, I'm sending you infinite love and light.